What's going on, fam? Good morning. CA for Jesus here, back with another one. Today's title: Pride and Perversion Spreads Like a Plague. So last night, I work part-time at a restaurant. It's one of my clients' restaurants. I work for a restaurant distribution company as of now, and one of my clients hired me on to work part-time 2 nights a week as a consultant slash sake sommelier. So I worked there 2 nights a week, and last night the spirit was off, y'all. So this guy came in, and he's a regular. You could tell he's got a lot of money. Kind of passive aggressive, acts entitled, but we're in the business of customer service. We're in the business of hospitality. We got to run a business. So, we accommodate him. And, I got to put on that fake smile, unfortunately. That's just part of the job. So anyways, he comes in being passive aggressive as usual. It's just him, but he's got a table for three. About half an hour goes by. His buddy comes in. The buddy was actually a nice guy. So I was like, okay, at least someone's cool at the table. Great. So got them all settled in. They ate. And then, so for the time his buddy got in, they ate, but that was another 30 minutes. And then they're just hanging out. And then all of a sudden this woman walks in. She's dressed to the nines, like makeup, hair done, just super expensive dress, super expensive heels. She comes in and she starts hugging on the guy, the regular. But she's flirting with both of them, which is really, really just weird, right? But what's also really weird is that guy, the regular, he's dressed down. The other guy's dressed down. He's actually wearing like a sweatsuit, a sweatshirt and sweatpants. I mean, he's not looking trashy, but he's definitely not dressed up by any means. Just a really, really odd dynamic. And then my buddy, my colleague, he's like, "Hey man, do you notice this guy? He comes in every week with a different escort." And I was like, "Man, I knew this woman was an escort, because it's just the dynamic was just off." I was like, this just does not make any sense. But I didn't really notice. I've seen him at least 4 or 5 times. And every time he comes in, he's got a different guy that comes in, and then, yeah, it is a different woman, but he goes for the same type of woman. And so I didn't even actually notice, because they have, similar body types, similar features, things like that. But he brought it to my attention. And at that point, I was like, all right, I'm no longer going over to that table. I cannot stand that. It's, and, my buddy, my colleague, he's not a Christian. And so he goes, "Oh, well, to each his own." And it's like, yes, to each his own. He has the freedom to do whatever he wants. We live in America. This is a free country. However, my argument is moral. My argument is biblical. And on top of that, so he's prideful, he's arrogant, he's passive aggressive because he's got money, he wants to flex. Okay. I can't, I hate the spirit of pride. And so does God. But I was like, okay, grin and bear it. He's going to be in and out. But then on top of that, you have a perverted spirit too, bro. And you're prideful you take pride in your perversion. That, I just said, I'm done. I'm done with you. And I think that's part of the reason why. I mean, he's kind of passive aggressive towards everybody, but I have a feeling that he knows that I know he's a scumbag, to say the least. And so, that's just one table, right? So I'm like, okay, let's not let this one table with prideful and perverted spirits to bother me. Just shake it off, Al. Just shake it off. But the next table, sitting next to him, it was a seven people. There was 5 guys. There was 2 girls, and I don't think the 2 girls were with. Sorry, guys, a little itchy. I don't think the 2 girls were with anyone at the table. There's one guy, and they're all in their mid-20s. One guy in particular definitely had that spirit of pride as well. Entitled. He's a young tech guy. You could tell he's, probably making a good amount of money, and arrogant, obnoxious, loud, making snarky comments towards everybody, towards me. And so I was like, oh man, okay. The spirit is really, really off tonight. So I have to, I really have to armor up. I mean, we always got to be walking around with the full armor of God on, but I knew last night in that moment, in that situation, that I had to armor up even more, And then the next table that comes in sits down. They sit down at a 4-top. We're not that busy, so we accommodated. It was a couple. It was a gay couple, and they sit down, and they're sitting on the banquet side, which faces the main floor of the restaurant. So they're looking out at so they can see everything, right? And they're both looking at me with this perverted smile, with these perverted eyes. And let me tell you, y'all, I've spent enough time in San Francisco around enough gay people to know that only gay people, pedophiles, and perverts, they have this specific look, this specific type of like demonic smile, and it's just like this certain type of gaze, this certain type of stare. Now, it is definitely I've seen it most. I see it from a mile away. I call it the gay gaze. But after watching The Sound of Freedom, I was like, oh, they got that same exact like demonic look on their face. But also people who are just perverted and just really overtaken and prideful in their spirit of lust have that look too. And so the regular had that look too. Going back to the 7-top. So the 7-top, the guy, after their meal's over, he's getting a little drunk. He gets up and he talks to the one girl on the end of the table. She's sitting down. He's standing up and he's like hovering over her and like hugging her. And you could tell she's getting uncomfortable. And I was getting ready to say something, but it didn't get too out of hand. He wasn't like harassing her straight up or anything. And she was able to kind of stand her ground a little bit too, so that was good. But I will say this, man, that yes, to each his own. You have a right to do what you want, to pretty much, for the most part, act how you want. We're in a free country. Doesn't mean, especially as Christians, that we have to tolerate it. This is not a freedom of expression issue. This is a moral issue. This is a biblical issue. All right? And this morning I woke up and I was still, as I talked about in a couple videos previous to this, in Romans, how it says, if at all possible, as much as possible, live at peace with all man. But the key phrase there is as much as possible. So there's certain times where we cannot tolerate. We have to be patient with people as much as possible. We can't let their spirit drag our spirit down. We can't let people get us angry, get under our skin. We got to have thick skin. But there's certain things you just don't tolerate. And pride is definitely one of them. Now, we have to, obviously with our jobs and stuff, we have to do things and bend to things that we wouldn't normally. But pride coupled with perversion, no way, bro, no way. And so going back to the regular, this guy, he was so prideful. He thought he was so cool, and it's like in his mind, he's thinking he got this girl all on his own. It's like, no, bro. How pathetic are you? You got to pay someone just to hang out with you. You are a simp. Men, stop simping out there. Stop being a beta. Stop putting these OnlyFans women, these thoughts. Stop putting all these escorts, these prostitutes, strippers, porn stars. Stop putting them on a pedestal, and start having more respect for yourself, and find a godly woman. But these reprobates, these non-believers, they don't get that, right? But so all three of these tables, I'm seeing a combination of pride and perversion, and it is an absolute, it spreads like wildfire. It spreads like a plague. I mean, just think about Pride Month. Like, why do you need a whole month to celebrate your sexual immorality, first of all, and also to be prideful? Pride comes before the fall. Pride comes before destruction. We know this. Pride is the most deadly sin. God hates it, and I hate it too. We got to hate what God hates. Amen? And yeah, so it is just spreading like a plague right now. And luckily, what is nice about SF that is a little bit better than LA is the spirit of pride, just like general pride and entitlement, is not quite as rampant in SF as it is in LA, because we don't have celebrities per se. But there's a lot of techies that a lot of like nerdy techies that have a lot of money that, no, not a whole lot, but there's a substantial minority that are entitled and think they're all hot stuff. But it's like, dude, you have to pay someone just to hang out with you. How sad and pathetic is that? And I'm not going to sit here and accommodate that. I'm not going to sit here and enable that. I'm not going to sit here and act like I got respect for you. No way. Now, the owner went over to the regular table when the escort got there, and she started pouring them glasses of sake and things like that. And it's like, okay, well, that's on you. If you want to bring that type of behavior around into your restaurant, that is on you. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to tolerate it. And I was reading Proverbs this morning that gave me, so much confirmation. And I just had to get on here and share this with y'all. So let's go to the word here. All right. So we're in Proverbs chapter 17. We're going to read verse 13. And we're also going to read verse 15. Okay, so verse 13. Whoso rewardeth evil for good, evil shall not depart from his house. So in this case, the house can be your physical house. It can be your business. It can even be your city. All right. So we, as in San Francisco, have tolerated pride and perversion in the name of tolerance and acceptance, and now it's spread like a plague. So yes, people have freedom of choice, of expression, fine. So do I. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to sit here and act like especially pride. Especially pride, I cannot stand. Now the the alphabet crew perversion. I work in San Francisco. I have a lot of clients that are gay, lesbian, whatever. And, you got to do what you got to do business wise. But the thing is, you gotta set your boundaries real quick. There was one night I was working and this dude came in and, he just had that, he's laying that spirit of perversion on thick and he's sitting at the bar. And so, and he just looks at me, he's like, "You're hot." And then I go, "I'm straight." And he's like, "I know." And I was like, I don't play around like that. And then he just kind of was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "Yeah, don't play with me like that. All right? I can be cordial with you. And, I'm not going to sit here and I obviously know where I'm at, right? You have to know where you're at sometimes. I mean, the whole city is plagued with perversion. But, we have to, so I have to know where I'm at, obviously. So, I just kind of play it off cool, low key. And, I do my best to show kindness, but at a certain point you got to show boundaries. If they start, coming at you with that perverted spirit, you got to lay it down, right? Okay, so verse 15, "He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are an abomination to the Lord." All right. So I ain't justifying this behavior. I do what I can because it's part of my job. I'm in the business of hospitality, customer service, whatever. But at a certain point, you got to draw a boundary. When you say, "Oh, to each his own," it's like, okay, fine. Yes, that's freedom of expression. We live in a free country. You have that right. Doesn't mean I'm going to sit here and enable it. Do you sit down knowing someone who is an alcoholic and you sit down and have drinks with them? No. All right. You're just as bad as you're enabling the behavior. We can't do this, y'all. And I bring up the alcoholic argument because I have in the past, and where I've sat down and I've had some drinks with people knowing that they're alcoholics. But now at this point, man, I can't do it. I've been convicted hard. And when you get convicted of something, you can't go against it. You can't go against your conscience. If you do, you're grieving the Holy Spirit and you're searing your conscience with a hot iron. All right, you can't do that. So yeah, I've been convicted of that. Can't do that. And when you justify evil, when you try and make friends with it, you're only creating a monster. That's all that we're doing. And that's not, when you know someone has a problem and you enable it, that's not love. All right? That's when you love your brother, when you love your sister, you don't enable them. Point blank, period. Okay? So, had to get that off my chest. We want to be slow to anger, but last night got to me a little bit, and I just want to make it very clear that we don't enable this type of behavior, especially as Christians, okay? We got to stand firm boundaries. Amen? All right, y'all. Like this video, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Share this message with a lost sheep. Subscribe. I love y'all. Have a blessed one.